coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. The province of Saskatchewan is cracking down on impaired drivers through new changes to the Traffic Safety Act. As we start the month of November, we're enjoying mild conditions across southwest Saskatchewan. Honoring Swift Current's veterans is the focus of a new banner program, recognizing the efforts of local veterans and their role in the war. Thanks for joining us here today. Tougher laws are on the horizon for impaired drivers in Saskatchewan. We have more in today's top story. The province of Saskatchewan is cracking down on impaired drivers. In 2015, there were close to 1,200 impaired driving collisions across the province, killing 53 people and injuring 578 others. Numbers which SGI and policing agencies have no tolerance for and are working together to reduce those numbers through new changes to the Traffic Safety Act. Changes which would include a 3-day vehicle seizure for experienced drivers who are charged for the first time with having a blood alcohol content over 0.04. Applying zero tolerance for drugs and alcohol to drivers ages 21 and under, and strengthening the ignition interlock laws to be the most effective in Canada. Changes in the law which would follow other provinces such as BC and Alberta.
We want to make sure we get it all right. We want to make it a made in Saskatchewan model, not a BC model, but a made in Saskatchewan one. We don't want a bunch of court challenges that are going to go through like they've had in Alberta and BC. So in our discussions with the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, they said, do it, but take your time and do it right. And so we've come in with this legislation as the first step. We will, and we hope to very soon, come in with additional legislation.
Once approved in the Saskatchewan legislature, the new amendments to the Traffic Safety Act will take effect January 1st, 2017. Environment Canada is predicting milder than normal temperatures throughout the month of November, shortening the overall winter season. As we start the month of November, we're enjoying mild conditions across southwest Saskatchewan. A pleasant change from the cooler than normal airflow we saw in October, combined with rain and snow, which also affected the harvest in many areas.
As I say, you had 72 millimeters of precipitation this month. You typically would see about 18. So 4 times what you normally get. And the wettest month, October ever, was back in 1998, where there was 78 millimeters of rain. Temperature was also about a degree cooler than normal. So it was a pretty well, overall, a kind of a miserable month.
Phillips says temperatures will be milder in the coming weeks, but we will still get a taste of winter through the season, but not as bitterly cold as many are expecting.
It's not going to be what Canadians think it is. They think that, or the Farmer's Almanac said this is going to be the winter from hell. I think that just there's no sort of basis for that, and we think that there's going to be more of a winter. There'll be moments that people in Swift Current and southwestern Saskatchewan will be wishing they were somewhere else. I mean, that just is the very nature of where we live. But I don't think it necessarily is going to be a painful, brittle, brutal kind of a winter to make up for what was the lack of winter last year. I think we'll see more of a winter, but I don't think it will be necessarily make-up time for Mother Nature.
The normal high for this time of the year for the Swift Current area is +5, with an overnight low of -5.
Those times when I thought that he was just very quiet and shy and withdrawing a little bit, that he was probably depressed and I didn't know it.
And you think that this is a short-term thing. In a week or two, he's going to be back to normal, but that's not the case.
Swift Current and area veterans are being honored through a new banner program, all initiated by the Swift Current Museum. Honoring Swift Current's veterans is the focus of a new banner program, The first 7 banners were premiered at a special event at the Lyric Theatre, recognizing the efforts of local veterans and their role in the war. Gordon Hartley was a communications officer with the Royal Canadian Corps Signals during World War II and was surprised by the acknowledgement.
Overwhelming. When the kids were talking about this, I didn't realize it was going to be anything like this.
And family members of veterans were also pleased to be a part of the unveiling, while keeping a part of their family history alive.
There's a connection with it being presented here at the Lyric, as my father worked at the Lyric as manager for years, and he was a vet as well, so it's nice to have that. And the board approached me about sponsoring him actually, and that's quite an honor that they would think of that.
The Veterans Banner Series is part of a national program and were designed in anticipation of the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge and the celebration of Canada's 150th anniversary in 2017. And with the first 7 banners unveiled, the Swift Current Museum hopes to attract interest in the sponsorship of more banners for the coming year, as Swift Current had numerous veterans who served overseas. The Veterans Memorial banners will be hung at Memorial Park in downtown Swift Current through Remembrance Day, then redisplayed each year near the cenotaph. Anyone interested in sponsoring future veterans banners can contact the Swift Current Museum. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.